Today is the 17th of July, 2025. I'm going to ask Mr. Brad Carr, our liaison, to conduct the meeting.
Thank you, Board Member Mason. So I will start here with our preamble that we always read. Good afternoon and welcome to the Scottsdale Development Review Board public meeting. The purpose of the Development Review Board is to maintain the quality of development in Scottsdale by reviewing all of the design aspects of proposed development and the relationship of its design components to surrounding environment and community. The board also reviews all preliminary plats for subdivisions to assure compliance with policies and ordinance requirements. The agenda consists of the roll call, public comment on non-agendized items, administrative report, minutes from the prior approval, and action items. A roll call vote will be taken after each item's motion. The liaison will call out each board member's name to indicate their desired vote for that item. After the vote has been counted, the liaison may read out the final vote. Any citizens that may wish to speak today during public comment time or to speak specifically on any agenda item may fill out a blue request to speak card at the staff table, or if you'd like to submit written comments, you could submit a yellow comment card at the staff table. When called, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and then begin speaking. There will be a total of 10 minutes allotted to groups of speakers. I remind our audience today that the board's review relates to design matters and does not include consideration of existing zoning designation, zoning entitlements, or the allowed uses within a zoning district. Today, the board's motions may be to approve with modified stipulations, to deny a request, or continue a case. Thank you again for your interest and time, and we will begin now with a roll call.
Councilwoman Whitehead.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Brand. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Present.
Board Member Pieser.
Here.
Board Member Fakih. Board Member Mason.
Here.
Board Member Robinson.
Here.
5 present. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comment for non-agendized items, and I believe we do not have any of that, so we'll move on to the administrative report for today. One item I wanted to note for the board members is we did receive an updated landscape plan for this application, both applications, but in particular 28 DR 2024. The plan was updated to show 2 additional trees that would be placed south of the proposed pool. That's on the south side of the project, near the center of the project. So that plan is dated June 26th of 2028. Unfortunately, that plan didn't make it into the staff report, but staff just wanted to make a note that that plan is what the applicant is proposing to add those 2 additional trees at that spot. With that, I think that concludes the administrative report today. So, actually, one thing, we will be meeting next meeting on August 7th. So hopefully we'll see you there in attendance for August 7th. Next up is approval of the minutes for the July 10th, 2025 Development Review Board regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion or any questions on that?
I move that the meeting minutes be approved as noted.
Second.
Councilwoman Whitehead.
Yes, I vote yes.
Okay. Commissioner Gonzalez.
I was present there and I vote yes.
Okay. Board Member Pieser.
Yes.
Board Member Mason.
Yes.
Board Member Robinson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to action items. Today we have 2 items on the consent agenda, both generally for the same site, but there's a small portion of the site on the southwestern portion of the site that's a different application. That's 27 DR 2024, which is phase 1 for the Palm Lane residences. The other application is item number 4 on your agenda, 28 DR 2024, which is phase 2 for the same project. If there are any questions, staff and the applicant are both here to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion for those items. Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes, Mr. Carr, did staff approve the addition to the landscape plan?
I'll ask Ms. Tessier, the project coordinator, to answer that.
Thank you, and Councilwoman Whitehead and Commissioner Gonzalez. Yes, it is approved, and it actually is part of the Development Review Board packet, so it will be executed at time of final plans. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much for that.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Whitehead, go ahead, please.
Thank you. First of all, it's nice seeing everybody. I'm sorry I'm not there. Yeah, I just wanted to answer a question that a constituent had asked about the paving of Palm Lane. And so that is not part of the package, my understanding, thanks to staff and the applicant. But if there was damage done, then it will be. And I'm just separately still waiting on finding out where that is in our paving plan. So I just want to acknowledge that question and provide an answer. And I'll send that person additional information.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We will hope to get some additional information to provide you that here in the near future. Any other questions from board members? Commissioner Gonzalez?
Thank you. I just, was there any comments, cards, or anything sent in?
It looks like we may have someone who had just arrived filling out a comment card. Briefly, maybe while that person is doing that, is there any other questions that staff or the applicant can answer for the board? Board Member Mason?
Is there any interest in having a staff presentation?
You know, I'm fine either way. I'm just jumping in here since I don't know how to raise my hand.
Okay. I'm
But
fine.
either way.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay, we'll just, I guess, take a pause real quick while we hear from the person who may want to speak.
As long as we're waiting, maybe I do have a question for the applicant.
Yes,
The applicant's-
Councilwoman Whitehead, go ahead.
Yeah, so I also was asked, let's see if I can find it. When the work, do they have a ballpark idea of when the work will begin, assuming this board approves the application?
Thank you, Councilmember Whitehead, members of the board. Just for the record, Lauren Proper Potter, P.O. Box 1833, Tempe, Arizona 85280, just so you know who you're talking to. Councilmember, so a couple things will happen here. We have some demolition permits that we're ready to act on in the next couple weeks or so. But in terms of construction on the overall project, I believe that we have a permit application being prepared to go in imminently. And so that's obviously pending the review process, as you well know, and I'm sure everyone up here knows that can be a lengthy process, but we would hope to get through that in like 6 to 9 months, and then construction would start pretty immediately after that time. It's worth noting that the developer is also the property owner currently, so they're not interested in wasting any time. They would love to get going as quickly as possible.
Okay, one other quick question. Is the applicant doing anything to kind of mitigate against vandalism or any such thing that might happen on a vacant property? There's some concerns about that.
Thank you, Councilmember Whitehead, for the question. So the property will be fenced during, you're talking about during construction? Yeah, during the construction timing, except for there have to be access on that driveway that kind of separates phase 1 and phase 2, but we'll make sure that everything is secured.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If there are no other further questions at this time, I'll ask the speaker, or the one public comment to come forward, Michelle Bonner. No worries. As you approach the lectern here, if you would please just state your name and address for the record. Sure.
Hi there, I'm Michelle Bonner. I live directly across the street from the property at 7321 East Palm Lane in Scottsdale, 85257. I've been working with the developers, they've been great. And I do have a couple of concerns, questions. One was, and I guess I just wanted to ask it in this public forum because I hadn't had a chance to really talk with you guys about it yet. One was, we We had that large apartment complex go up next to us about 2 years ago, and it absolutely tore up our street. It's in terrible shape at this point, and I'm wondering if there's any possibility of the developer resurfacing that street once everything's done. Because I know it's going to make a huge mess with all the trucks coming in and out and whatnot. So that was one of my questions. I don't know if any of this was addressed or not, but the other thing was just, I understand that it's going to take a while for the permits and all that to go through. And my concern is just in the interim, until that happens, that property be well maintained, because it was very unsightly when the church people were there for a long time, and a lot of their signage is all still there. I don't know how long it's going to be before the demo actually starts happening on that building, but I would really like to see that property be well maintained by both landscaping and trash removal, because it's still a mess, and I just don't want it to be a mess like that for months and months and months, but until we actually have demo or permits or whatever. And I have been in contact with the developers about that, so they do know quite a bit about that. But I just wanted to make sure that is something that's on a regular schedule, that we have actual landscapers that go out there and remove weeds and things like that. So I guess it's more comments than it is questions. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Bonner. I'll ask the applicant to respond to those comments and questions.
Okay, thank you, Chair Mason, and members of the board, Councilmember Whitehead. And thank you to Michelle. You've been great to work with, by the way. Not everyone is as lucky as we have been to have an awesome neighbor to work with. And so we appreciate your involvement throughout the entire process. A couple answers to your questions, just so everything's on the record, out in the public forum for you. So the demolition permits, I believe, are ready to be approved, and they're just on hold pending the outcome of this meeting today. So as soon as those permits are issued today, hopefully goes okay, we'll pull those permits probably in the next week or two. We have to mobilize the team to do all the demolition and stuff, but and then the demolition should take about 2 weeks after that. And that kind of answers a second part of your question, which is maintenance of the property. Of course, there will be ongoing needs, but part of the demolition is going to be to basically tear everything out. So you won't have weeds and other stuff. It'll basically just kind of be dirt for a while and rocks. So that'll address that issue pending permit. So you won't see some of the issues that you've seen with the lack of maintenance in the past. And we didn't control the property then, so I appreciate that you kind of noted that was not an us thing, but certainly you have Justin's number. I think you have my contact information too, but you can always reach out if there's something going on. The interaction with you doesn't end at the end of this process. We'll have construction, and I'm sure we'll have conversations then as well. That can, as you noted, it can be kind of unpleasant or painful, and I'm sorry to hear that the project that went in had done some damage to the street. I drove it, the street seemed okay to me, but I suppose it's subjective. But we will be required, we'll have to post bonds for any of the work that's done in the right-of-way, and there will be cuts made into the street as part of taps into the sewer and water. Obviously, we're tearing out the sidewalks and putting in new curb, gutter, wider sidewalks, all that landscaping. Some is on our property and some is in the right-of-way. So you'll see some work happen there. There's pavement restoration requirements. So you basically have to, when you cut into anything in the right-of-way, whether it's just the sidewalk, the streets, whatever, you have to restore it to MAG standards, and that's a zoning ordinance requirement. Not only that, when we put up bonds at the city, when we get those permits, so permits are, you get a permit for paving, you have tons of little permits that are happening, and those will not be issued either C of O, if that's relevant, or a final inspection would not be approved if pavement restoration hadn't happened. It has to happen to those MAG standards. So it's basically whatever would be required today to go in. So it's not resurfacing of the whole street. That's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Huge, huge construction costs to do that. It's just really expensive to repave a whole street. Part of it is, I wish that the prior property owner that did the construction had done what they were supposed to do, which is repair the pavement, any damage that they've done. We'll fix any damage that's done as a part of this construction process, but beyond like resurfacing of the entire street, that's just kind of not something that the project can absorb cost-wise.
At this time, public comment is closed, but thank you.
But Michelle, we're happy to continue the conversation, even, we can chat outside. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from members of the board or Councilwoman Whitehead, who's still on there? Let me ask Ms. Whitehead first.
Yeah, no, I think I'm fine. I appreciate the answers. I also really appreciate Michelle's comments too, because this project, as I said in the city council meeting, has evolved a lot, and that's thanks to the development, this applicant wanting to make it good for the neighborhood. So this has improved a lot, and we get there because neighbors get involved. So thanks to all.
Thank you. Any other, Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes, I sat on the planning commission when this project was being run forward, and I also commend the developers and everybody with working with all the neighbors and everything. It's been a long slog. I know you've been here many times, and we appreciate it, and you've put forth an honest project, and you worked with the neighborhood and everything, and we just wish that more developments were this easy to do. It doesn't seem easy for you, I'm sure, but the thing is, and all the permits and everything, but it is in the protection of the public. We have to go through these systems and checks and balances. As far as what one of the comments was made by the public is that, when you do street cuts and everything, they try to do and patch the street as well as possible. But it's really up to the city to be able to monitor and to look after the rest of the street. So if you have any questions or anything, maybe you shouldn't look at the developer, but look at the streets and transportation as being the final solution with that, and see what because they always schedule everything out. They're not. They know what's going on, and they know that sometimes, if you make enough street cuts in an area, that you have to repair a lot more of a street than you're just doing the street cuts. So that's where you get the real coverage on it, is when the street transportation department says, well, we're going to relay part of the street section. So that's where you should direct a lot of those questions for that. But I appreciate the developer coming out and coming forth and being forthright on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez. And thank you all for being here, by the way. I know we're the only item on the agenda. I know it's the middle of July, so we just want to take a second to say thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments, questions from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd move to approve cases 27 DR 2024 and 2028 DR 2024, which I believe includes an amended landscape plan, per the staff recommended stipulations, after finding that the development applications meet the applicable Development Review Board criteria.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Whitehead,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Board Member Pieser,
Yes.
Board Member Mason,
Yes.
Board Member Robinson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our items for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us and entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.